There we go. Hello, everybody. Everybody now, everybody in the future, watching this later. Welcome to those present. If you're here, I'm happy to have you here. Please say hello in the chat if you're watching. If you're into that kind of thing, I'm happy to chat with you. I'm just going to double check that my settings are all good here. If you can let me know if you can hear me well, that would be great. Happy to have another session working on this beat together with everybody. If you haven't been here for the previous ones, hello. If you haven't been here for the previous ones, I've been working on something. It's like a kind of, I don't know, part jazzy, hip-hoppy thing, part fat electronic beat thing. We're going to play through it in just a second, then we'll continue working on it. Anybody who's here or here for the first time new, I would love to know where you're watching from, and if you have any questions or suggestions or thoughts or whatever, I'm open to any of that and would love to chat with you. So let's just make sure that the sound is decent. Oh yeah, headphones would be a good idea. Okay, I'm going to play through the track, and if someone in the chat can let me know how it sounds on your end in terms of audio quality and in terms of volume compared to my voice. Usually it's been good, so I'm hoping that the trend continues, and we'll see. So this is the track right here. This part at the end, let's just actually pull that away a little bit because I tried just sticking it right up against the other sections that I had, and it wasn't really working, so we're just gonna leave it alone for now. Okay. Watching from Jamaica, I'd like to know how to make my beats sound thicker, please. That's a great question. Let's talk about that. I have a thing with, before I get on the stream, I usually have a smoothie, and it makes my mouth disgusting sounding with all the pastiness, and Megan sometimes covertly lets me know about that, so thank you for that. Shamcry, hello. Great to have you back again. Thanks for being here so regularly. I appreciate the support, and I'm happy that you enjoy the stream. Okay, so yeah, let's listen to the beat first before we talk about how to make beats sound thicker. Here we go. Okay, great. How does that sound to everybody in terms of the volume compared to my voice? Sounds great. Okay, that's good. Good. Have to see how this tune will develop. That's great. Thanks. Hi everyone. That's an interesting plot twist to see Max explaining how to make fat beats. Yeah. Okay, well, let's definitely talk about that today. Hopefully some of this sounds fat to you, both to Tevoki's music and Vlad. I remember now, Vlad. So good to see you again, Vlad. See you again. Thanks for being back and for the interest in the question there. So, how to make beats sound fat? Well, of course, there's many elements to that. There's not just a simple answer, unfortunately, but this is like the holy grail of beat making, right? How do we make things sound fat in all meanings, in all senses of the word? And there's a few kind of big points there. One is perfect volume balance. This probably sounds like too simple to be true, but getting like a perfect volume balance is between your elements in your track is so essential. If it's even off, if certain elements are off by like 1 dB, the thing just doesn't work. I read once one of the lead mix engineers for Steely Dan was talking about how when you get a mix to the point of really being done, the faders are in such a position that moving them like 0.3 of a decibel ruins it. Like if you can move your fader 0.5 of a dB or a dB and you still think, oh, yeah, it still sounds pretty good. Like if you move it up or down a dB and it still sounds fine, then you haven't found the spot yet, right? When you find the spot where everything sits just right, it's just like, phew, everything is right where it needs to be. Am I there with that beat yet? In some points I am, in some points I'm not. That's one aspect. The other is filling out the frequency spectrum. So if there's holes in the spectrum, when you try to make the fattest sounding part, let's put it like that, like big, huge, impressive sounding, we want to be filling from the lowest frequencies we can hear to the highest fairly evenly. And if that's not happening in the climax of your thing, in the biggest part of your song, then that feeling of massiveness, of like a wall of sound, isn't going to happen. So that can come from many different areas. Maybe I can take a section of the beat and talk about it. Let's see. So this part sounds pretty fat to me. I mean, even the beginning sounds pretty full, but we'll take this one. So all the elements are contributing to filling out the frequency spectrum. Filling out the frequency spectrum, also filling out the stereo field, like left and right. So we want the depth, as they say, there's like this analogy about a shoebox, maybe you've heard, like the depth is reverb and volume going forward and back in the mix. Then there's a stereo spectrum side to side, and there's a frequency balance up and down. I might have had those dimensions wrong somehow, but it's something like that. The idea being that you want to fill the shoebox in all dimensions. Why shoebox? I don't know. Fill the box in all dimensions. And by doing that, you're taking up all aspects of how we hear. Our left to right, our front to back, and our frequency become filled. And when that's filled, you have a sense of wall of sound bigness. And then, of course, the tone of the instruments in there as well. So when I'm making the beat, I'm trying to be very conscious of the tonal balance of all the instruments, right? You don't want to just stack up 5 instruments that are all super bright, high-end instruments and then nothing that's dull. It's the contrast between the things that fills it out. So if you think about the cymbals and the drums, those are getting very high frequencies. You want some like low, mid stuff, you want some high stuff, you want some sub stuff, and your instrument choices are going to play into that. So although it's kind of, it would be nice if you could just like go and choose all your favorite instruments and just put them all in there. Usually it doesn't work that way. Usually the instrument choice has to be harmonious with each other so that they fill the spectrum appropriately. That doesn't mean the spectrum needs to be filled in every moment of the beat. That would ruin the effect. It can only be filled completely in some moments and not in others to achieve fatness, which is the other point. Like coming out of here, all the bass has been removed, the highs have been removed, and of course suddenly it all appears. It gets wide, it gets big, you hear the reverb, the bass comes in, the highs come in, and this is probably goes without saying, but contrast in music, probably in all art forms, is like one of the most important drivers of appreciating a thing. If the whole thing sounded like that, you would have nothing to compare it to, and it wouldn't sound fat anymore. It sounds big and huge because the part before it was not. So you have to take things away to give things meaning, basically. If everything is everything all the time, then it's nothing. It's normal, right? So I'm constantly trying to set up contrasts to give things meaning. If all you have is fat chords, like hip jazzy chords, and you don't have any simple chords, the fat jazzy chords don't have meaning anymore. So like this part of the beat is basically chordless, which is very rare for me. I rarely have a section of music that does not have harmony in it. But this is just a bass line with some kind of, there's a little bit of a harmony in the back, and then suddenly a chord. And it's a jazzy, cool thing, but now it feels like something coming into another chord. So two pretty fat, dark chords, contrasting back into no chords again. So the contrast thing is big. Yep, so those things are there. The last thing I'm going to say before I get on to like actually making the beat again, I could talk about like making fat beats and what makes them fat for like a week. It's just something I've thought a lot about, and I may or may not be successful in actually accomplishing that on a day-to-day basis, but I have thought about it a lot. The other thing is, and this is something new to me, and I'll just put it out there as an idea that you can take. I don't know if this is good advice or not, but it's kind of like what I've been going on recently, and it's actually been working for me. And I'll get to the comments there in just a sec. So the other thing is relative balance of drums to instruments. So I'm a huge drum fanatic. I love drums, and I want my drums to be loud, and when I listen back to my older music, my drums are always like almost the main instrument, I would say, to a fault, actually. When I was doing a bunch of analysis recently, just listening analysis on a lot of music that I like the mixes of, like electronic stuff and whatever. I really respect the mixing skills of a lot of the electronic guys. They really spend a lot of time and effort in their mixes, and a lot of them sound amazing. And I was shocked to hear, when I really listened, that the drum level was not nearly as loud as I thought it was. The drums sound big, like the samples sound big, but they're not actually so loud in the mix a lot of the times. The instruments, the basses, the chords and stuff are so loud in the mix. Somehow I didn't even notice. I don't know why. So I said, okay, I'm going to start experimenting. So I started I set my drum level, get my drum mix just how I like it, and then I'm bringing my primary instruments up as high as I can possibly put them before my ears are telling me, no, this is now like the drums are gone. Trying to make these things so loud in the mix right before the threshold of too loud, trying to find that sweet spot. And then suddenly the thing sounds bigger because the tonal elements are taking up more attention, more space in the mix, and all the subtleties of the bass sounds and whatever can be heard. So that's just a very basic idea that I've been experimenting with recently, but I've been enjoying it. I'll just check the comments here for a second. Interesting. I struggle when mixing orchestral pieces, especially the woodwinds tend to disappear in the mix. Yeah, well, that's a completely different topic than this kind of beat making, but is also fascinating. It has a lot to do with the composition as much as it has to do with the mixing, of course. Thinking about the way that composers back in the day had to work. Composers today, of course, doing film score and modern classical as well. You don't have this whole thing sitting at your fingertips where you can go shape the tones of everything. All you have is the tone of the instrument itself and how loud do you want them to play, the notes and rhythms they're playing. Those fundamental aspects of music, and you don't have all the freedom to just do whatever you want like in a DAW. Of course we do now. But I like thinking about that. Is it possible to write music in that way, as they had to in the past, that you do your mixing compositionally first, so that even if there was no mixing, if things were just like set at a volume, you would still get a good mix out of it, right? Just due to the way that you've composed the parts, thinking about the tone of the instrument, how much high frequencies, how much mid, how much low, compared to the other instruments simultaneously playing, compared to are they staggering their rhythms, are they playing in unison? All these things contribute to how much you can perceive one instrument out over another. So, of course, we would need to have a specific example. Maybe that would be cool one day to like take some tracks from subscribers or whoever and just like listen to them and talk about some stuff, because yeah, I find that stuff fascinating. The wall of sound effect is not always a desired result. It all depends on genre. Sometimes one would like to have a short and snappy sounding drum section. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. When I'm talking about like the epitome of fatness, in this case, I'm thinking like, you know, this big sound. And the big sound doesn't mean it has to be like, you know, these huge drums that are sloshy and massive reverb things. Like a lot of times when, especially listening to say like, I don't know, modern hip hop or drum and bass, a lot of the like really heavy drum and bass stuff has really tight, short, snappy drum sounds like you're talking about. But still, the way they mix is like everything is so finely balanced and so in your face loud. I once heard Noisia, pretty recently actually. If anybody doesn't know Noisia, they're a drum and bass trio, and they're just like, their mixing is outrageous. Their sound design is outrageous. If you want to study like mixing and sound design, that's a good place to go. Noisia. And one of them was talking about how he considers, or I guess is the truth, white noise is essentially the loudest sound in that it fills all the frequency spectrum. White noise is all frequencies played at equal volume simultaneously, which is the sound, but it has sub-frequencies and everything in it. And that the more a song tends towards white noise, as in fills the entire frequency spectrum evenly, the more it will be perceived to be loud and big. And so a lot of electronic producers, you might have noticed, will even layer white noise in behind their beats, like as a layer, just going subtly in the background, or it's pumping rhythmically, or it's part of the hi-hats, or it's part of your main bass synth, because they're just trying to leave no holes when they want that huge sound. Now, of course, there's sometimes those beats that sound massive, or like some hip-hop stuff or trap stuff where you've just got like a super distorted 808, big drums. That's a different sort of fatness. Yeah, I would love to keep on talking about it for like a day, but I do also want to work on the beat a little bit. Welcome to anybody new to the stream. Happy to have you here. Please say hello in the chat and let me know where you're watching from if you've not been here before. And if you've got any questions, I'd love to answer, or topics you want to talk about. If you guys are enjoying the stream, if you want to give me a like, I would appreciate that. It always helps me out. Right now, the streams are the thing I can count on the most, for my schedule is quite busy with some other music work I have to do. So it's hard to find time to make videos, but streaming I can make time for, because of course 2 hours is 2 hours. The thing is done. I really enjoy that. So hopefully you guys enjoy it too. And if you do, the likes really help me out on that to grow the stream. Yo, Ian, thanks for being here. Dedicate a day to white noise. Actually, that would be a good idea. I would like to do that. Okay, so let's just actually take a look at this section here. I was talking about like fatness and stuff, so let's just loop this for a second and listen to the various elements, because there's some interesting things going on here. So here's the drums. Pretty massive reverb on that snare. And of course, these drums are compressed, they are saturated, they got EQ, of course, reverb, all sorts of stuff is going on, right? So let's add in something here. Let's see. Add in some of these little bits. So there's a little hi-hat thing. You may have not noticed, but on my, every once in a while on a snare comes this sound right here. That kind of metallic-y thing. That's not meant to be noticed by a casual listener at all. That's just meant to subconsciously fill out the atmosphere of the thing and provide like intensity, right? It's like part of the snare or something. So then we've got these little, this is kind of a chord, you could say, going on here. I think this is a D minor that I'm playing. Take the drums out for a sec. So those are harmonized lines, panned side to side, so filling out the stereo spectrum a little bit, getting some of that like mid-range notes filled in. I'm not actually playing any stabbing chords, but we are arpeggiating a D minor triad there, harmonized. Beyond that, all I've really got here is the bass, which itself, if you watch back a few streams ago, was made by taking like a very simple bass sound in Serum, as in simple as in like it doesn't have many harmonics in it, it's just kind of a sine wavy subby thing, and then running it through immense amounts of processing and filtering, and then re-outputting that as an audio file. So it's this constantly moving, changing thing. And when it's not being filtered, it actually takes up the entire frequency spectrum itself. It has frequencies all the way up to 20,000, all the way down to its fundamental, which is somewhere quite low down there in 60 or maybe even 40 hertz range. And then we filter that to allow the high frequencies to come out only at certain points. So the first hit doesn't really have any, but over time they do appear. And that crazy like jet taking off sound, that is just the result of running the sound through intense multiband compression through OTT, that's the name of the plugin, which brings up the volume of all the frequencies. So as soon as there's a gap in the sound, it takes the high frequency reverb and just shoots it up to be as loud as the sound itself, which gives this kind of psychoacoustic effect that you're hearing such a loud sound that when the sound is playing, it pushes every other element away. And as soon as that bass sound stops, everything else comes rushing in until it stops again, right? So that thing, so it's almost like the sound is so massive, it's putting a cap on everything. And that does something to us psychoacoustically. And there's a bunch of these psychoacoustic tricks that electronic producers use to enhance or create the illusion of bigness. Of course, that's in side chaining, that's in EQ balance, that's in multiband compression, that's in reverb, automation, delay automation. There's a lot of stuff that's used to trick the brain into perceiving something being huge. Even if you're listening at a quiet volume, somehow it still feels like it's big, right? So that's, yeah, there's a lot of tricks like that. So that's all that's going on in this section. Now we have a chord holding and a bunch of other stuff happening. So this is even more filled out in a certain sense. Such an aggressively sounding growly bass. By the way, check S1's built-in red light distortion. It's hard to operate, but can turn even a simple sine into a monster growl. Absolutely, I agree. I was thinking about doing a video on that, about how to make these kinds of basses using just the built-in Studio One plugins, because that's actually possible to do. You can emulate, I was just at a friend's place a week or two ago, we were doing this, emulating the functioning of OTT using the built-in Studio One multiband compressor, using red light distortion, using, what's it called? MiTi to generate the initial sound. So you can make a sound like this using the built-in stuff in Studio One. I don't do it just because I have other stuff and it's just easier for me to do, but it is cool that it's possible to do if you know the techniques. You can do it with your built-in plugins as well. So maybe that would be a good video. I should probably give that a try. They also have, I don't use it anymore, but I remember now Studio One has another free plugin called Saturation Knob or something. It's made by another company, and if I look at my installations here, like, can you still get that thing? I wonder. It used to be a thing. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe someone else on the chat knows where it is. But there was like a couple of plugins that you could get. There was a VU meter and this saturation knob. Yeah, FabFilter Saturn, of course, is for saturation. It's just amazing. But yeah, there was a built-in one too. And Output has a new saturation distortion plugin called Thermal, which is now on Splice for rent to own, $10 a month, which is like, oh my God, I'm foaming at the mouth. They have a 3-day trial, which I'm probably going to try out this week at some point. Because I've also got a massive discount available to me on Saturn 2 from FabFilter, so I'm debating which one to get, Saturn 2 or Thermal, because they both just look amazing. Yeah, soft tube saturation knob, but for distortion purposes, Ampire can also be used. You're on it, man. Wow, you got a lot of good ideas. That's it. Thank you for that. Just amps, no cabs. Yeah, for sure. That's actually a good idea. I should play around with that Ampire distortion. Okay, so last week we started recreating this section. In a more minimalistic electro sort of form. So this is what it sounds like currently. I'm okay happy with it. I'm honestly not that stoked on it right now. There's some mixing imbalance issues with it. There's some tonal issues, I think, between the actual tones of the instruments and the drums. I don't know exactly what it needs. I do have some ideas. A few streams back, I was working on this initial part, like getting the chords down for like these chords here. And someone was here in the chat and they said something like, why don't you use like simpler chords and just have them last longer? Which is just like not the way I normally work, but I might actually do that for this little minimalistic section and like reharmonize the same melody with simple chords that last longer instead of changing like every 2 beats like mine normally do. And then have this big one kind of maybe be reharmonized version of the same melodies. So that could be interesting. I'm just going to give that a try just for like a minute or two here because I'm curious about that. I'm going to duplicate it, just move it over so I can not ruin my work in the other one. And I will, let's think here. What do we got? That's the bells, that's the harmonies, that's the bass, here's the chords. So what we're going to do is I'm going to delete these chords and we're just going to try to come up with a very simple, mostly diatonic progression to encapsulate this melody and just see what that's like. Because maybe it's cool, maybe it's not, I don't know. What a good sound though, hey? What's with this clicking? It sounds like it's reaching its limit of polyphony, but it can't be. It doesn't make any sense. Or that it's restarting the oscillator, but I don't think so. We looked at this last time and I couldn't figure it out. This is probably something I need to just do off stream at some point. Yeah, you know, it says 40 voices. Yeah, such a nice sound. I love it. Almost like a filter is being reset, but if I turn off the filter, it still does it. So that's not it. In the effects section, no, still does it. Turn off all the effects. Hey, that solved it. Okay, so we've... Oh, you know what? Maybe it's this. Yeah, I do like solving problems, that's true. Sorry about this, guys. Just give me 1 sec to figure this out. Okay, so it's not these guys. That might be it, actually. Oh, you know what? These guys are probably being modulated by something, which is why they're blue, and it's the modulation resetting that is causing the problem. I bet you that's it. Let's look. Yeah, here it is. So these LFOs are controlling these. Let's just mute all of this for a second. That's it. Okay. I'm just going to keep them muted because whatever. Okay, so okay, so we're thinking of some new chords for this stuff. We could use something. No. Those chords simple, kind of. I like them though. It's kind of like cliche, but also things are cliche for a reason, right? But yeah, I'm gonna record that for now because that's what's on my mind. I need my drums. Yeah, I'm on the bass. That'd be kind of cool. Do-do-do-dum, do-do-do-dum. Pretty snazzy. Don't give me that. Yeah, that's actually what I was thinking too, Zelda. Anything that sounds like Zelda is good in my books. Yeah, I think the main melody sound is really nice too. Okay, so for anyone who's a harmony fiend like myself, this is just, I'm in the key of D minor. It's a B flat major 7, so that's the flat 6 chord in this key, going to a C, what do you call this? This is like a D minor 7 over C actually. Going to D minor 9, going to G minor 9, then repeating B flat, the C thing, D minor 7 over C, D to a G9 instead of a G minor 9. So one time we do it minor, one time we do it dominant. B flat, C is the 1 chord, 4 minor chord, flat 6, flat 7, 1, 4 major. That. So I'm thinking of the bass here very melodically. very melodically, a little bit melodically, let's put it that way, as a kind of counter melody. So I'm not trying to run over the melody, the main melody. I want to let the main melody shine until it takes a pause or in some way chills out for a second. Then the bass comes in to fill in that gap, sort of. So if we listen to them together, that's not it. This thing is not on beat. Okay, so here we've got them playing simultaneously. Ooh, and do 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 do. So they kind of harmonize with each other at that moment. These guys should be touching, I think. Okay, so a lot of these little movements, you hear me probably, if you know anything, if you ever listen to my music, I do this kind of stuff a lot that I get from the classical world of walking around notes, looking to get more movement. I have a note that I'm targeting, which is the next bass note, say for instance this one, and then we're on this one, and we're gonna walk up, jump over the note that we're targeting, and come back to it, which is a very kind of, you hear this in Bach constantly, like all of his music is always doing this. Little figures that dance around a note, then land on it, then dance around a note, then land on it. It's a nice way to like increase movement without having to worry too much about, you know, chord tones or whatever. You're just like looking at notes and then making little figures that surround them and landing repeatedly all the time. That's sort of the idea. These like descending ones could probably be better. Right now they're just root, fifth, and root. Could make it the seventh perhaps. Da do da da do 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 da 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 do do da da do 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 da da do do do. There's a huge cat, yeah, that's right. Anybody who's a guitar player out there, please do yourself a favor and search the name Ted Green in YouTube and just watch anything and everything, probably for the rest of your life. The man is one of my greatest musical inspirations, and there's a little inside joke there about Bach being a huge cat that maybe you'll catch one day. I like this. I think I like this better than the original little thingy we had going on there. So wonder if we should even change the drum pattern to something completely different. Let's put the harmony parts in first, maybe, and then we'll see. So what I'm debating right now for these harmonies is if they will play with the melody or if they will be a kind of like counter melody as well. I've got a pretty good idea. Not exactly what I wanted, but pretty close. Just wondering, when you're building each section of a song, are you mainly just focused on that section, or are you thinking about how it will flow into the next and last section? Yeah, that probably just varies as much as it varies from person to person. Sometimes I get completely caught up in a section and feel like I just have to flesh this out, and then becomes the challenge of linking sections, which is actually one of my favorite things to do, is like having two separate pieces that are kind of maybe in the same key or the same feel and trying to figure out how they go together. In this case, I do have an idea about how this is going to flow, but often my ideas don't work out like I thought, so it's probably not going to work. Probably, speaking as a good boy, I should be concerned about like how this whole thing is going to flow all the time, but that's just not the case. I just get caught up in making some sections sound good. And then if it ends up not flowing, I'll just copy that out and like make it a new song or something. Is that the original melody? No. I don't know what that means, Ian. So I want to harmonize this little run in 3-part harmony perfectly. perfectly, whatever that means. Beautifully, let's say. I want it to be beautiful. The chord at that moment is the G minor, so we could do this. I see in German. That's actually pretty cool. Can you like write out how you pronounce that? I'm curious. Ach so? Ach, I don't know how to pronounce German at all. I actually have no idea. Ooh. Can we see you at the same time? Oh, you're not the lead I want. You're the lead I want. That was pretty much it. Okay. Ooh, the natural sixth there, this E note, ooh, on top of the G. Will they let us get away with that? We're gonna try anyway. And then we're gonna put another harmony on. Woo, those harmonies, yeah. I like them too. This is like my favorite part of making music, is writing the little harmony bits. Okay, so I'm gonna copy down, I should probably finish this first one just to make sure I've got it all. I want to echo that. This kind of counterpoint stuff is like my life. I'm obsessed with it. I don't know why. I just love the sound of interweaving melodies that all work together. It's kind of like a musical puzzle, and I don't know. It works my kind of like scientific brain at the same time as it's working my artistic brain, and that's just the greatest thing for me. This is a stellar section. Oh, thank you. Sometimes you can find yourself in a state of inspirational rush when you start a composition without any idea, and shortly after develop it without any problems. Rare case for me. Yeah, no kidding. The inspirational rush, I think that, that's so common to anybody in an artistic medium. You begin a thing, and it's starting to take a little bit of shape, and you just think like, this is it. This is the dopest thing has ever been made. You know, if you're me, that's what you say. If you're someone else, you think this is very pretty maybe, or something like that. And then you're so excited about it. And there's a thing that I've had to work on over the years, which is over listening. I get into that situation where I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I've made this. I love this. And I just listen to it over and over and over again until I've depleted the magic from it, because I've now heard my own composition too much. I'm not even like a quarter of the way through the song, you know, meaning I'm going to have to hear this 1,000 more times before the song is done. That's just a thing that I've done so many times over the years. So I try to limit my listening to a certain section, because I can have that repeatedly through a song. You get the first section and then it starts to become a kind of grind in a sense to like get everything just so. And you start the next section and it's like, oh yes, this is good. And then the same thing repeats. But yeah, it's definitely rare for me to develop it without any problems, so to speak. The problems I do feel are enjoyable in themselves, like coming up to some kind of issue, compositional issue. That's where I think my growth in music happens, is when I arrive at things I don't know how to deal with, which usually has to do with creating complementary sections to what's already happened. What's already happened has created such a vibe that it's sometimes difficult to think what other vibe will match this. And there's so many techniques to doing that, at least techniques I've developed over the years, about how to link those sections and find new inspiration again. Many of them revolve around melody rather than anything else. But that's, I think a very common feeling is that initial excitement and then trying to develop it. And some people say that you should develop a song structurally in its entirety as soon as possible, meaning like just getting the main elements down as fast as you can, the melody, the beat, whatever, just like structuring the whole thing, and then you go back and fill it in. And that makes, total sense to me. I understand that. You get the lay of the land. You don't get like overburdened with a single section and whatever, but I can't do it, I find. I so want to hear every section fully fleshed out. I want to hear what this part is going to be like, period, what it's going to be like. And then from there, I'll know whether I want to keep it or not. If I just keep it in like a rough state, I might think like, it's decent, it might be good at some point, and I'm just going to move on. I somehow can't do that. I have to like put everything into it and feel really good about that before I can let it go and move on to another part. The fun part of this state is that you can go on with this idea forever, but once you take a break, the idea is lost. Yeah, it's interesting. I can take a break, I might lose the idea, or perhaps I also can run out of, but I can use up my creative motion for a day. I do find that, similar to the contrast thing we talked about earlier, I need to take breaks from the creative process to allow the creative process. I can't be in that position all the time. And the more I try to, the more I need to rest afterwards. I think one begets the other. They create each other. The creative process creates the desire for the rest process, and the rest process the desire for the creative process. And they just seem to alternate for me like that. But sometimes I get so hyped on making something that I just have to like keep going. And then I like get to a point, maybe this is familiar to other people, I get to a point where I so want to keep working on the thing mentally, as in like, I don't know, I just want the excitement to keep going or whatever. But every idea I have is just garbage. I just like try a new thing and then I delete it. Try a new thing and I delete it. Try a new thing and I delete it. And I seem to like reach a point where I'm unable to like do what's right for the song anymore. And I'm just trying to do something because I've been doing something. And I just get better at recognizing that point. As soon as I start to like tap out of that zone, I say, okay, it's fine. I just let it go for now and I'll come back to it later. But in the past, I used to just harp on that, like, gotta do it. And then like come back the next day and like, why did I do that? All this is garbage. And then just delete it and restart again. It's kind of like in a video game. I don't know if anyone on here plays video games, but I'm like a lifetime gamer. And in a video game, sometimes you get to like a really hard section, like a boss fight or something. And I'm like working on this boss fight for like 2 hours playing the game one night or something like that. And I just can't do it. Getting so frustrated. Oh my God, what? And then finally put it down, come back the next day, and suddenly, like the first try, I get it. This happens to me in music as well, so much. Something about that rest period, there's like an integrative process that occurs subconsciously, taking in everything that's happened during the creative period, and then without my even knowing it, it somehow synthesizes everything. You come back the next day and bah, the answer is there. Hopefully. Sometimes not the case. Okay, so we're gonna harmonize this little counter melody here. They're gonna play in direct sync with each other, so they're not gonna do like layered rhythms or anything, because we've already got the melody, the arpeggios, the bass, this harmony. I don't want another one, because to me that's now getting to be too many lines, too many simultaneous lines. So if these two lines move in unison, meaning like same rhythms and same contours to their shape, then they become one line. It sounds to the ear like it's one line. And then we're going to listen to everything one by one and see if it all fits together. So I'm just going to copy down the harmony, and then we will start moving it around. I don't know if we can go lower. Let's try to go lower maybe and see. I'm just going to pull everything down a few steps. Vlad, what is your musical background or production background? You seem to like have a lot of good ideas and have been doing it a while. That's the impression I get from you. Is that the case? Do you play an instrument as well, or do you just produce? Jesus. Okay. That's the original, right? Woo. 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 This one. Let's go. I don't know about that. Let's... Sounds okay. T-Rad the Transformer, yo. Cooking on a beat right now. I don't know if you've heard it at all. Let me just finish this little section here and I will play you the beat just so you can check it out. Do I use key changes or is it too pop? I absolutely use key changes. All day, every day. This song is absolutely going to have multiple key changes in it. I love key changes. Do I love the, what they call it, like I've heard it called before, a truck driver key change, you know, where you just like at the last second in a pop song, shift up one key. I dig that sometimes, but most of the time not. I much prefer the kind of like subtle, interesting key changes, you know, like moving, you can even move a half step like that, but you do it in a more interesting way than just literally like copy and paste and push everything up one gear. There's more interesting ways to do it, but key changes are huge for me. And this guy I mentioned earlier, this guitar player, Ted Green, when I was younger, I would always hear him talk about this because he would like improvise all this beautiful guitar work. And then he would talk about how he has to change keys often because he gets bored of hearing one key and it becomes stale to him. That always left an impression on me and has kind of shaped my perception of keys over the years. And now that has become very apparent to me. If I stay in one key too long, the thing gets dull to me. As soon as you shift tonal centers, something in our mind, in our ear, just goes like chunk into like a new zone, and it feels like, oh, okay, this is nice now. All the notes have different relationships to like this inner virtual tonic. That's a whole topic. Wow, inner virtual tonic, about like throughout the whole song, whether that root note, that tonic note of the key is sounding or not, internally, the ear, the mind is virtually sounding that tonic all the time, which is what gives every note its meaning. If it were not doing that, you would instantly be lost. If the chord was changed, you would never know where home was. There's a virtual tonic always sounding, invisibly sounding, whatever you want to say. And as soon as that key changes, and once the ear comprehends the key change, it's like the virtual tonic just goes chung into like a new zone, and there's like this inner sensation that feels like, this is good, which can be going down keys, can be going up keys. They all have their different effects. I think the effect of the truck driver key change up one gear right at the end is, yeah, you do get a bunch of new notes. Of course, you're going up one half step. You're going to get a lot of new notes, but more the effect is just one of raising. That's my experience anyway. It's so blatant and obvious. We have gone higher now, right? Like, it's quite simple and straightforward. Not going to hate on that too hard. If anyone here is into that, that's great. I'm into it in certain circumstances for sure. But it has been used a lot. Something about the other kinds of key changes that place you in some other note almost subconsciously. Sometimes you don't even know it's occurred, but something in it feels fresh. Yeah, that's, well, we're going to get into that here at some point. Maybe even this section we should put in a different key. Never got those key changes in the end. In my opinion, they sound cheesy to say the least. Yeah, of course. I mean, they've been used so much, and it's used in such a cheesy context in terms of like the way that pop music is using them with the lyrics, with the arrangements. Like, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, nowhere but up, key changes at the end. I know that's actually, you know, I've got a soft spot for that. If anyone here, I don't know if I've talked about it on here. I've got a massive, massive love for gospel music, black gospel music from the States, and the kinds of music that these people produce. I just absolutely adore it. And Take Six is a vocal group, a cappella vocal group, and prior to Take Six, there was another group called A Special Blend. And this is what Megan's talking about, a song called Nowhere But Up by A Special Blend. And at the end, they have a series of these truck driver key changes, basically going up and up. But the song is literally about up and up. They just say it over and over again. And so it makes sense in that context and actually sounds beautiful because their harmonies and vocals are beautiful. Okay. I'm from EDM world, so my opinion is relevant here. I asked you, Vlad, I don't know if you heard me, I asked you if you wanted to share a little bit about your musical background because you seem like you've been doing it a while, or have some experience at least. You've got some opinions on things and knowledge about various plugins and whatever, so I'd be curious. And if you have some music that I could listen to at some point, I would actually really dig that too. And I'm sure a bunch of people in the chat here have music that's worth listening to. I know my cousin, T-Rad the Transformer, has some great beats and amazing art you should check out. Likewise, my love of my life, Megan, when you go to her website, please. It's just unbelievably gorgeous. Everything on her site, she does art that you wouldn't even believe. I don't know if you can post links in the chat. I feel like they probably don't allow that. But if you can, somebody post a link. Okay, so here's what we got so far. for this section. I forgot about that. These things need to be subdued too. They're way too in my face at the moment. Okay, these harmonies, that is. Oh my God, it's disgusting. Okay, I'm going to play this from the top one more time, just if anyone's new on the stream here. Welcome. Thank you for being here. If you want to chat, please feel free. I'm always happy to chat with everybody. If you have any questions or comments about the track or suggestions, please just let me know. If you enjoy the stream so far, you could consider giving me a like on the video. That really helps me out, or a subscription if you want to see some more stuff. I've also got a Discord that's posted in the description of this video. If you want to chat with me about music and production stuff there on a more personal level, that would be great as well. Whatever you like. Okay, here's the whole tune from the top. Yeah, so that's the main part of the track we've made so far, and we're kind of making an intro right now. Yeah, these harmonies just stick out way too much for my liking. I've been making music for a while now, several years, but never got to the point of proper finishing my tracks, so I'm just a hobbyist, more on the technical side of music than creative one. So many DAWs and plugins, so little time. Tell me about it. I know, it's just a fascinating rabbit hole. It's just endlessly enjoyable. Harmonies can't stick out enough. Yeah, well, I think in this case they kind of are overshadowing the melody. I kind of stopped paying attention to the melody and only listen to the harmonies, which is not my intention, so I do want to try softening them a little bit. Maybe what I'll do is actually just put them in a little bus together. They're going to be in a little bus. Two buddies on a bus. Harmony buddies. And let's just, I don't know, use something really basic like this. Right, because they're... Okay, so let's just examine a little bit all the counterpointy stuff that's going on here. So we have main melody. The bass. The first harmony. Second one. And the chords. We have this other bell instrument here that we haven't used yet, which could be kind of cool. Finally, got out of the loop with DAWs and dedicated myself to creative aspects of music making. Sign it up on your streams. Ah, okay, that's great. Exciting. You want the fizz louder than everything. You mean the actual fizz you feel is louder than everything, or the melody itself, as in that's the fizz? Yeah, I think you might be right. Let's look at that fizz. Which one is it? This one. Let's try it like this. Yeah, I'm not sure. I need to be EQing these elements for sure. I've not gotten to that point yet. I'm curious about a different drum beat too, honestly. Let's try this. I always forget how to use this thing. Okay, variation 2, steps, 64. Do you mix on the fly or is it a dedicated process? I mix on the fly, absolutely. I used to do a dedicated process and everybody tells me to do that, but I just don't like it. It has to do with that same thing I talked about earlier, about this kind of compulsion to need to know what the part's going to sound like. I have a hard time just like letting things be, thinking, okay, I'm going to mix it later and then it's going to sound good. I need to know for myself. Kind of like if I'm playing in a jam or in a band or something, like when we're actually playing, that's the moment we want it to sound good, right? I kind of have the same philosophy here, that it only works if your computer is powerful enough to do it, of course, but I mix as much as I can on the fly because I want to hear the finished product of that section as soon as I can so I can make a clear decision about whether it's worth keeping or not. That's just like a thing, though, that I have to do. Okay, we're going to try a few different patterns here. Let's put in some hats first, maybe. Let's this. I wonder if there's a way to like automate this, not having to do every one individually. Okay, the real question is, are we going to have snares on, is it like a half-time thing still, or double time, standard time? I don't know what you call that. Because it could be kind of like that, more like a 4 on the floor-y sort of thing. No, it can't. I don't know. The harmonies are pretty apparent to me right now. Are they not for you? Yeah, no, the drums are gonna have to come down for sure. Just while I'm working on them, I need them to be loud. from Guadalupe. Wow. Hello. You've been here before, have you not? Original local music. We've met here before? I believe so. It's probable. Huh. The drum pattern's not perfect, but it's decent. Okay, here's a cool trick. I don't know if this is going to work out the way I'm hoping it will, but I will show you something kind of neat. So okay, let's just read this first. I'm playing guitar with a metronome right now at 128, and some of rhythms it makes with you starting and stopping are cool. Nice, that's cool. So I'm going to copy this pad, this cell as they call it, to some random cell that I'm not going to be touching at all. So let's paste it over here. So now this cell is the same as this one. And what I'm going to do is pan this one hard left, this one hard right. Then I will link this one to the same key as this one. And let's do that first. So this one is on A1. So I come down here and set this key to be A1. Now it just sounds like the same thing again, right in the middle, because both pads are identical. So there's no difference in information, which means your ears can't tell there's stereo information, because the ears need to have different anything. They have to be different in some way. So what I'm going to do is change the start time of this one, and you'll see as I do that, now the hi-hat becomes kind of wide, because though they're the same sample, they have different start times, which means the waveforms don't line up exactly. The ear hears different waveforms, and you can hear a stereo image of the same sound. So now we get the sensation that this is almost a different sound. Not a different sound. We get the sensation that is the same sound, but now is wide. So we're converting a mono sound into a stereo sound just by changing the start value on two panned signals like that. We could also do other things like pitch shift one tone up usually sounds better. We can also change the EQ on one of them. They've already both got an EQ on them, so we'll leave that as it is. One of them is louder, which is this one. No, which is this one. Sorry about the key noise there. I wish I had a silent keyboard, but with the weighted keys, it's just how it is. Okay, there we go. So, grease up that MIDI controller. Yeah, straight up. I wish. It's just donking all the time. Dunk, dunk, dunk. And I actually don't recommend this keyboard. I've had it for like 12 years. It's an 88 key Akai MPK 88 hammer action weighted massive thing. And it's like huge. It's ungodly heavy. You can hardly lift it by myself. And I've got keys on it that aren't working anymore. The thing is so loud when you hit the hammers. I've played other weighted keyboards that don't have the same donk quality. I thought you were blending a kick knock and a hi-hat. Yeah, straight up. That's unfortunate. When you offset the time, doesn't that cause cancellation if someone plays back in mono? It could. It depends. We can even just check that right now. It depends on exactly how those things line up. If the waveforms are not constant, how do I say that? Like a constant frequency. Like this waveform is completely random noise, so it may not give us that issue. We're going to see though. And by the way, hello Chris, welcome. Great to have you here. So we can just go to our mix bus, and I want to maybe even on one of these things already. No. We're going to use a mix tool. I believe mix tool can do this for us. Boop. Nope. Does anybody know what the default mono whatever making tool is in Studio One? I usually use my SonarWorks, which I guess we could use right now because we'll just turn off the correction on it. And oh, I see, it needs the correction on, but okay, whatever. Here it is in mono. Now in stereo. So I still hear it. It's at the bottom near the meter, the two circles. This thing, oh, this is gonna turn the whole mix into mono just by clicking this? Oh my God. Top secret Nick, wow, thank you so much. I never knew that, believe it or not, that's amazing. And welcome, Top Secret Nick. Have we met before? Have you been here? Regardless, welcome and thank you for the tip. Yeah, we have not met before, okay. Well, you seem like a friend already, so maybe that's why. Like almost the random kind of stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities. We could double the chords, I wonder. kind of cool. That could like come in at some point. This bell sound is a omnisphere sound that is then being run through that RC20 plugin to like digitize it and get it to be particularly hyper lighty. Yeah. That's the one I was noodling with, that is. Yeah, I'm not sure why it was, maybe because the donks of my fingers were... The pitches just get like... Maybe because I'm playing too high, they get like masked. That was the wrong chord. I just like this sound. This is like half my time spent making music is just doing stuff like this. Ooh, isn't that such a cool sound? Like the 4 chord in a minor key. Going to the 2 dominant chord. This is 4. Going to 2 dominant. 5 dominant. Back to 1. Twilight Zone. Anyway. Okay, well, that's kind of going to be the basis of this version. Here is the old version that we had, emulating the beginning, or the whatever. Both are cool. So yeah, I think the idea will be to hear this part early on in the song. So I need to have this melody still stick out a bit more. It's not quite there, but to be able to hear the melody, that thing, gets kind of buried right now, I think. At least in my headphones. When we become accustomed to this, I don't know exactly how this is gonna come in yet, but something like this in the beginning. We'll probably then move into another section. We'll have a key change at some point. We're gonna come away into another world for a little while. We're gonna come back out of that key change back to maybe the original key with the same melody that we've just heard, but later it's gonna be this version. So you kind of like make friends with the melody in the beginning, understand it, you go off somewhere else, you go on a little trip, you come back to meet your friend again. There they are, but now he's surrounded by a new little army of friends and he says, hey, what about this? You're gonna be my other friends. And then something will happen there. I don't know what yet. And the friend goes to Babylon. Yeah, that's it. Now I see. So there's a sound that I kind of feel like I want to use here, maybe to layer with this melody. I don't know. Recently I switched from Mac to PC after 15 years of being on Mac, and I had to convert all of my old sessions to PC format because I used audio units, which are a Mac proprietary plugin format that doesn't work on PC, which, by the way, if you are using Mac right now, please save yourself future trouble. Just use VSTs. I know it's cool to use audio units because it's Mac and you're on Mac. I did that for many years. When moving from Mac to PC, which I never thought I would do, but now I have done, so it could happen to you, I had to literally spend, I don't know, a week all day, every day, going through all my unfinished music and a lot of my finished music and converting every plugin individually from audio unit to VST just so it would work on the new computer. It was a complete nightmare. It's done now, but you can save yourself that grief if you just stop using audio units today. You might think you're never going to switch to PC, but here I am. In the process of doing that, I came across an unfinished song from a long time ago that I quite liked, so I spent some time making sure it was going to work on the new computer. And it had a synth in it that might work in this song. So I'm just going to try to open it up just briefly and see if I can see which one that was. Let's save this. I'll make sure that we don't ruin that. And I can't remember what I called it. Give me 1 second here. You'll probably be interested to hear the track too. It's pretty cool. It's not mixed, it's not anything. It's just like a little rough thing from several years ago, but I do like it. So let's go here. Should I be doing this on a stream? Should you be seeing the inner workings of my hard drive? Oh, I don't know. Still have this thing, need to convert. Luckily, I actually finished doing that. I did convert. Where did I put this stuff here? No. Oh, it's a Digital Performer song. I used to use Digital Performer as my main DAW, and so it's in there. Perhaps again, yeah. Maybe I should play that one on the stream too, just for fun, because that's actually a pretty wild track, and I've not shown it to so many people. May as well. It's been unfinished for a while now, so maybe if I put it on a stream and it's like a little bit of it gets played, I'll like be forced to finish it. Good tip. I just switched the other way. Was trying some AUs to see if they were faster than VST. Doesn't seem to matter so far. I miss my PC, but the Mac crashes way less. Yeah, it's so funny. I'm like the opposite. I miss the Mac so much. There's so many things that so many workflows I have on Mac that are just not happening on PC, and a bunch of apps that I can't find equivalents for, and I'm just crying myself to sleep about it. But I am running a Mac virtual machine on Windows now, and I can run some of my apps in there and then drag and drop between them. So you can probably do it the other way around too. Did you buy a Mac, like a laptop or a Mac Mini or something? What did you get? Here's the tune. I pray that it plays properly. I don't know for sure, but we're just going to see. So, and sorry if this is loud. I know that we've been like turning down the other one a little bit, so this one might be a bit louder. I don't know. I apologize if it is. Seems all right. Missing from here. And the piano got replaced. No reverb. go here. What the hell? Yeah, that's basically the track. There's some other parts to it too, but we'll see if we get to that. Yeah, MacBook was surprisingly cheaper than an equivalent PC. I'm running Linux and Win 7 and 10 in VMware, but the music stuff is all direct in the Mac. I see. Got a refurbished one. Yeah, that's a good way to go. Which plugins do you use for the drums on this? Whenever you hear me using acoustic drums, I'm using Addictive Drums 2. Addictive Drums, I've got it somewhere here, is just where it's at. If you want, for me anyway, if you want nice acoustic drums, for me, you just can't beat it. So I make all my own custom kits in here, made of all the separate parts, and then mix them and blah, blah, blah. So this is my Brap kit. Brap Zanigan is the name, my pen name I used when writing this song, my kind of alter ego for this song. Nice baritone and lead sounds. Thank you. Great tune. I get some Spyro Gyra Rippington vibes. I don't even know who that is, but if it gives you vibes like this, then I absolutely want to know about those people. When I was doing this section, I experimented with one of those Jacob Collier chords, sharp 15, as he would call it. So let's see if I can find it. It's one of those. I actually don't even know which one it is. Or maybe it's one of the next ones. Want to hear some wild harmonies? Here you go. Okay, that's gotta be one of my favorite things I've ever done with a bass. Ba-boom, that rhythm. Wow, these electronic drums are so much bigger than the acoustic ones. I assume pitch bend really makes a sound. Did you play it indirectly or did you automate it? I always struggle to make that sound natural. The pitch bend in the lead over here, do you mean? Or in the chords? I assume, you mean in the lead, this part up here? Yeah. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of pitch bends. Anything that can make synth sounds sound more like real things, like organic things, I really like that. So I spend a lot of time trying to play simultaneously with the pitch bend wheel and mod wheel and the fingers at the same time. So yeah, trying to get sounds that sound like beings of some sort, as if it was being sung by a kind of robot or something. I think this one could still even be improved more on that end, but thanks, I appreciate that you like it. Also, I haven't had this problem with this DAW yet, Studio One, but with other DAWs I have had the problem where there's a selection able to, how to say that? There's a way that pitch bends can be interpreted as smooth or interpreted as stepwise, even though you draw a curve smooth. And I've had that problem before where you make a smooth curve in the pitch bend thing, and then you hear which is kind of cool, but usually I want it to be smooth. So, I mean, I don't know if that's what's happening to you, but that's a thing. Okay, so anyway, this wasn't the song I wanted to play, but it was there, so I will finish it at some point. I do like it quite a lot. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, that's right, it was on Digital Performer. I wonder if this is gonna work, if like I'm gonna be able to get you to hear the audio from Digital Performer here, and I want to say it's this one. And you're saying S1 can do both smooth and stepwise pitch bend. Don't hold me to it. I know Digital Performer does that, and I had that problem for a while. I don't know if there is that possibility inside Studio One as well to do that, like, you know, whatever. Oh my God. Every effect cannot be found. I guess that's because I skipped that initial thing because I thought I already had these things. So, okay, let's just try this again. I don't even know if you showed me this one from the album. Yeah, I don't think I did because I never had a bounce of it, actually. I don't think I ever made a bounce of this. I really hope that this actually plays. If it doesn't play, I'm not even going to bother trying to do it right now because this is going to be like a day of trying to make these plugins work. Why? Why do you not work? I spent so much time making you work. There must be a reason. All of these are not working. There's something is set up incorrectly here. This is Digital Performer 10, by the way. It looks like garbage. Well, like garbage. It looks fine. I don't particularly like it. I used to use it all the time, and now I hate on it because, you know, that's what happens when you switch from one thing to another, right? You just got to hate on the previous thing. Let me just check one thing, and if this doesn't work, I'm just going to screw it and go back. Where do I find that? Nope. It's been so long since I've used this stuff, I just don't remember where anything is. I could have sworn it should be here. Damn. Yeah, I don't know. I think I need to just... I'll have to do this next stream because I don't remember where it is. Did I make a bounce of it? Oh, maybe I did. I wonder. That would be very convenient. I did. Oh my God, thank God. Let's see if it sounds halfway decent. Tell me if you can even hear this, actually. I don't know if I play the... You should be able to hear this. Can you hear that? can hear it. Okay. This was actually made as soon as I got back from Sweden. I was in Sweden that year and came back, and that's why it's called I'm Back. It was the first thing I made when I was back. I don't know, somehow it just felt right to me at the time for that, and I quite like it. I quite like a lot of the stuff in there. And that main lead sound was the one I was trying to find the name of, why I even got into this. You're going to say the exact same thing. That's so funny. Yeah. Anyway, that's for another day. But yes, I would like to just finish all that, just put that album out. It's basically done. Most of the songs on there are done enough that they could just be released. So I think we're going to probably end the stream here pretty quick. Let me just play through this track again. How do you anticipate sound selection before a session? How do you anticipate sound selection before a session? Yeah, that's so hard to say. It really depends. I've done everything from experimenting in choosing all the sounds ahead of time so I know they all work together, and it's like having a band or an orchestra, right? Your instruments are set and they are what they are. So I spend time deciding on sounds before I even make a song, saying, this is my band, so to speak. These are all the instruments I have to work with, nothing else. And then you play within those limits. That's pretty cool. And then you know it's going to sound good because you've spent time balancing the frequencies and tonal aspects of all those sounds. The other comes from, you just start with something, and then that something dictates the rest. A lot of times what happens for me is that I have a very loose inner feeling of what I'm wanting to create. I don't quite know what that is yet. As I start generating things, that gives me clues. I find little hints and I say, that is like what I feel I'm trying to do here. And then from there, that feeling becomes more and more clear to me. As the song goes on, I start to realize, okay, this doesn't fit, this sound doesn't work, this element doesn't work, this sample, I need to add this, whatever. But it all comes from, the way to choose the sounds all comes from maintaining an inner feeling state that to me is representative of the piece as a whole, which you can't, of course, I can't put into words. I can't say what that state is. It's not a particular emotion or anything. It's a kind of blend of so many things. We probably all know that feeling. But when I lose that feeling, if I lose that feeling, then the song loses its focus and I start making decisions that actually don't serve the song. I start putting in sound, I start making drum parts, I start making chords that are just, I don't know, spur of the moment. I like that idea, but it's not actually what serves to create the best piece of music I can make. So in terms of sound selection and in selection of everything else, I do try to work that way. I appreciate working that way. I like to do it. That I start with an inner feeling, I let that guide the first sounds. The inner feeling becomes clarified as I write pieces. I find what it is I was even after in that initial feeling, and that feeling becomes intensified the longer I work on it, and I know really what it is that I'm creating here. And then over time, that shapes the soundscape of the whole thing. That's what's happening in this song to a certain degree. And of course, I can't share what my inner feeling is towards the piece so far. So some of the decisions I make might seem weird or good, or I don't know what they seem like, but it's all because I'm hoping that it's in alignment with this underlying sensation that I have towards the piece that I can't give to anybody else until the song is done. Hopefully in the finished product, the underlying sensation comes across to the listener. That would be the ideal situation. I don't know if that always happens or not, but that's kind of my process for choosing sounds. I got the Nordic blues. I do actually, yeah. Megan and I go to Sweden for a gathering for an organization we're part of, and it's been many summers now. 4, I think I've gone. I don't know if it's been in a row. No, not in a row, but I've been there 4 times. 4 times. And yeah, it's a magical place because of the setting that we're in, because of what we're doing there and all that. And so not being able to go this summer was a bit of a bummer, but also nice because it's easy on the bank account and gave me time to work on some more stuff here as well. So that's also fine. Okay, let's play through the track. Did we do that already? No, we didn't. Yeah, I really dig the drums too. Man, drums. I wish I was a drummer. We might be thinking, how are we going to get from this to that? I'm thinking that too, but it's going to happen somehow. You just use digital drums, yeah. It's true. I wonder if we could just somehow do some crazy transition. Nah, it's gonna be too abrupt, but just launch from this melody straight into the other one. I'm gonna do it here with pushing comma on the keyboard just for fun, but we would need some mad transition to make that happen, but I do like the idea of key changing and coming back. Okay, so I'm happy with that for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. I'm going to give a quick sneak peek of a song or a beat that's going to be in an upcoming video. I'm going to be doing a series on basically what I feel are the mechanics of head bobbing, you could say. What is it about a beat that causes someone or forces someone and rewards someone for bobbing their head or tapping their foot or their finger or whatever like that? That's really interesting to me, so I decided I wanted to do a video series on that. And I started one, but I haven't quite finished making the video yet. But since you're all on the stream and we're going to just end up with something cool, I may as well just play that quickly. Okay, this is the thing. Yeah, again, I hope the volume is all right for you. I never know with the stream, so let's just pray. And the point of this thing is going to be about, in this first video, about the power of velocity within beat making, and particularly in terms of creating head bobbing. Here's the same beat with no velocity changes in any instruments. So yeah, that's going to be coming soon. Hopefully you enjoy the beat. If it doesn't make your head bob, I'm sorry. It does for me, so I can't please everybody. I'm Bob, and give this to Adrian to make skeletons dance to, for sure. Really like it. This is right up my alley. That's great. I'm glad you like it. So that's going to be the end of the stream for today. I had a great time being with all of you. Add some horns, actually. That's a good idea. I could actually play the melody in horns. That might be a cool way to go. Yeah, so thank you all for being here. Thank you for those in the future who've watched the stream. Everybody who's been supporting me over the last months, I really appreciate that. And I hope to keep doing this as long as I can. Yeah, I would love to chat with any of you if you want to on my Discord. I have in the description of this video. There's like a bunch of different topics, and we can talk about production or theory and whatever. It's been slow going because I've been so busy. I haven't been posting on there that much. But it is something I would like to do, as I'm such a nerd about this stuff that I do want to chat with more people about it and the specifics of it. So if you have any music you want to share of your own, or of other people's music, if you want to talk about tech stuff, tips for Studio One or production stuff, mixing, composition. There's all sorts of channels in the Discord just for doing that. So yeah, if that's up your alley, I would love to see you there. If not, then that's fine too. If you enjoyed the stream, please consider giving it a like, and you can subscribe to the channel if you want to. Soon I will have a whole new course coming out all about theory and composition. It's quite a large course. It's a kind of full download of my own perspective on theory and composition and from a very practical standpoint about how to use theory in a way that is meaningful to music and creates emotional feelings that you're interested in. And for me, that's the only reason to have theory. And so that's going to be quite a large thing coming out soon, and I will definitely be posting about it and giving some links and whatever when that becomes available. So if that's something you're interested in studying or learning that from me or whatever, then just know that's coming soon. Otherwise, yeah, I'll see you next Sunday. I'm going to be back again, 10 a.m. Pacific time as always, doing this stream. We'll continue working on this beat. I think maybe I'll find some time to clean it up during the week. I'm not sure. Otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of your day wherever you are, and I so appreciate you being here and chatting with me. It was a blast. So thank you so much, everybody. I'll talk to you soon.